But right now, we don't have to worry too much about self-defense at Cap Rep, but we might want to have some self-defense just to be safe wherever we are.
Sure,
is that right?
Sure, absolutely.
And Mark, how do I want to pronounce your name right? Messare?
Messare.
Messare. We have a new school coming to town.
Yes, it's already here, actually.
It's already here.
Yes.
And when I saw about it, it was like Laura Brown. You're in the audience. Hi, Laura. She told me about it, and I got kind of excited about it because I think self-defense is so important, especially for women. I mean, it is for men too.
Absolutely.
But women are more vulnerable, or they're perceived as being more vulnerable.
No, absolutely.
But not the Israeli women.
No.
So tell us a little bit about the program and
Sure.
why you're focusing on the Israeli military.
Okay. So basically, I started martial arts when I was a teenager. I got involved in it. Just a punk high school kid. I was like, let's do some of that.
Yeah, why not? I want to be black.
That's what I said. I want to learn how to beat people up. I walked into my teacher's school and I was like, yo, man, how much for class? He's like, why don't you go outside, turn your hat around, pull your pants up, come back in and try again. So I was like a little shocked. Walked outside. I told my buddy, I was like, oh, this guy's kind of scary. We came back in, and turns out that was the beginning of my martial arts journey. I joined.
And there's a lot of discipline with
tons. There's a lot of discipline. It's definitely progressive. I have a lot of parents that have told me, well, my son doesn't pay attention enough to get into something like that.
Yeah,
that they start. I have 4 kids, and they've all been involved in it since they were little. It's been very beneficial for them growing up. My son now is a senior, captain of the football team, captain of the wrestling team. He's going to States in a couple weeks. So, it's definitely changed the course of their life. They've had a completely different school experience than I had growing up. And why the Israeli martial arts? Basically, I got in the military in August 2000. When I was going to boot camp is when the USS Cole was bombed. And
oh my God.
Yeah, and so I remember that. And they pulled everybody in, and they talked about terrorism and stuff. And so anyways, the next year, I'm in the military now. My younger brother, Jonathan, is in the military, and 9/11 happens. And so I was actually on my way.
Oh my gosh!
Schenectady Public Access had a show that I was actually putting self-defense videos on at the time, and 9/11 happens, and it just changed the direction for me. I was like, I needed to learn stuff that could help keep people safe on a bigger level than just basic bullying and stuff like that. So
and I don't see, and maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me. I don't see martial arts as being an aggressive form of defense. It's defense.
Sure.
I don't see it as people go, I'm a black belt and I'm going to beat you up.
Sure.
I don't see that.
You hope, part of the training is learning to teach the responsibility to what we're showing you, this is a situation you could use it in, this would be a situation you can't use it in. So, and that's something I integrate into every class that I do, especially in the kids' classes, because, if you don't tell them that, as a father, they're like, oh, I tried my Krav Maga on my dad.
Say that again, Krav Maga.
Krav Maga, yeah.
And what is that?
So
what does that mean?
It basically means contact combat. It was something that was developed in the Israeli military when it first became a nation by a man named Emi Lichtenfeld, and it's been a part of the military's combative training, and it just kind of, what makes it so good and effective is that they're surrounded by enemies, and they have a very small piece of land, and they're always trying to defend it. If they stop self-defense, then they don't exist as a nation anymore.
That's true, yeah.
So basically, I got interested in that. I was a part of a few different organizations, and what it does for the martial arts, how it's different than other systems.
Well, I was just going to say, how does this differ from jiu-jitsu or any of the Japanese, the Korean, the Chinese?
Sure.
How does this all differ?
Well, it just kind of cuts to the chase of this. We're just protecting our life. A lot of other systems are focused on sport. Some of them compete in the Olympics. Some of them travel and do different tournaments. But Krav Maga is all about surviving a street encounter, something that would happen. A guy pulls a knife on you, a gun on you. You have 5 guys attacking you all at the same time. How to survive an encounter like that? So.
And can you?
Yeah, well, hopefully, the more training. I mean, one of the things that's done. Too
I see this in the movies.
Sure.
They got 20 people and they beat them all up.
Well,
I'm going, how is this possible?
It's very possible. I mean, the biggest thing is a plan. You need to have a plan, and it has to happen long before the encounter happens.
You have to know your surroundings and everything.
You're walking down the street at night, down State Street or one of the streets, and all of a sudden somebody comes up to you, and it happens. The first thing that goes through your mind is, what should I do? I remember the Paul Blart movie, Mall Cop, the first one I liked a lot, and they're under siege by all these guys, and he's just a security guy, and he goes, what am I supposed to do? What have they trained me to do? And he's like, nothing. So at that point, when it actually happens, it's too late to prepare. So what we help do is we teach little 5-year-olds all the way up to adult and military and law enforcement communities. We try to help people stay safe. That's what we try to do.
So I've always heard, be aware of your surroundings, know where your exit plan is. Even though nobody's attacking you,
right?
You should just be aware of, is there a car there, and is it, there's so many things you have to kind of, and I think and I'm worried because people walk around with these little gizmos in their hand, looking down as they walk, and I'm saying, you guys, are you paying any attention? I see them walking off a curb into traffic, looking at their iPhone.
Absolutely.
It's like, you need to be aware of your surroundings.
People are a lot less aware today, I think, than ever before because of all the technology that's out there.
I've always learned to be aware, make
and
eye
headphones,
contact.
I have teenage children, I'm talking to them in the morning thinking that they hear me, and I realize they have their headphones in and they haven't heard a word. And so, you bring that into a situation that's potentially threatening, and they never hear the attack coming, they never see it coming because they're looking down, like you said. So those are things we try to integrate into the class too. We call it situational awareness, and honestly, that is 90% of protecting yourself, is being aware of what's going on around you, because the more time you have to realize that I'm under attack, the more able you are to respond.
Yeah.
Another thing is, getting away, getting space. A lot of fights happen by people getting they get close first,
in your face,
and they get close and they yell at you, and then the next thing you know, they've hit you, and whether you know martial arts or not, you're already on the ground.
You're done.
You're way too close.
Yeah.
So things like that. We talk to a lot of different people that, unfortunately, when they join our program, they've already been in a situation, so I don't have to sell them on it. They basically say, hey, I was at college and this happened, or, I've been getting picked on. My son's been getting picked on in school, and we really just want to make him tougher and know how to stay away from the bullies. And
to kind of be able to step back and know that you're in charge of your space.
I mean, and on a bigger level, like as a country, I remember growing up in a pre-9/11 world. All of my martial arts instructors and all of my friends that were in the military were always telling me, we're safe in America. Nobody'd ever, cross our borders. And now we look at our country 15 years post 9/11.
It's from within.
And everything. It's happening. And it's not just terrorism. It's people just being crazy. And instead of suicides, we have mass homicides and mass shootings happening. And so, again, 20 years ago, people were like, you know what, just leave it to the professionals. Call 911, and while that's still good strategy,
it's too late.
I tell people, you're the first responder to your own crime scene. You're going to be there. For example, there's something just happened a couple months ago, and there was a father and a daughter in, I think it was the New York City area, and all of a sudden there's like teenage boys, like 4 or 5 teenage boys come around, and they're like, hey, I want you to leave your, you're going to leave your daughter because we're going to, have our way, and the father at that point was thinking, there was, I don't know the full situation, but he's probably thinking what everybody thinks, what should I do? And so he complied. They put a gun in his face too.
Comply.
Yeah, he went, he's like, okay, they said, we're going to shoot you if you don't leave right now. And so he left his daughter, which is ridiculous, but he left his daughter to go run and try to find a phone to call the police. And by the time he gotten back, it was already too late, and obviously they've caught these people, but for that girl who's 16, 17 years old, her life will never be the same.
Never be the same.
And so, I brought the story up.
And she'll never trust her dad.
Absolutely. And I brought that story up in class, none of these, most parents know by common sense you would never do that. But then what happens in that high stress situation?
He thinks I can get help.
Yeah, so like I'm gonna get the cops with the guns and but so we teach how to handle situations like that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Well,
but for little kids too, we don't teach all that stuff. We just teach them basics, how to get away, how to stay safe.
Well, if you want to learn about self-defense, Israeli style, or any other style, I guess he'll give you all the stuff behind that to things to protect yourself before that happens. Check out his school. It sounds like fun.
Yeah, we have locations in Burnt Hills, Amsterdam. We're growing because I think there's a huge need for it out there.
Yeah, and it sounds like something I should do.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on out.